So this easily, Sammy, was one of my favorite interviews of the whole week. And to set it up, I'll set it up here in a second. But David Montgomery was at Radio Row, and it's so much fun. You know what? I don't want to talk about it too much. Sammy, let's go ahead and start the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Adam Ray.
It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
The sickest Chicago Bears and fantasy football podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome to a very special edition of the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank. I'm going to be dropping a short interview I did with David Montgomery during Radio Row. And to set this up real quick, this was one of the coolest things too. Like, nothing will make you feel better as a journalist or anything like that than having a moment like we had with David Montgomery. Now, David was walking through the convention center. You'll see here in a moment. He's doing his thing, and he's got an entourage with him. And a lot of times, you know, if we're not scheduled to meet with a company or have something, like some of the ones you'll see later in the week, like Chris Myers was scheduled to come with us. So otherwise, it's a free-for-all. So David Montgomery's walking through, and I'm like, David, hey, can I ask you a quick question? And he waves. He's not looking. He's looking down at his phone. And he waves me off. He's like, no, we're not going to do it. And he goes, no. I go, hey, David, can you just look up real quick? It's me. And he looks, and he sees me, and he stops dead. And he goes, oh, he tells his whole crew, hold up. I got to talk to this guy. And like one of his friends is like, oh, and he goes, yeah, he tells his friend, he goes, this is Adam Rank. He's always showing me love. And I'm like, even when the Lions, he's like, yes, even when I went to the Lions, like, I'll make this quick, we'll do a quick thing. But like, and it wasn't a walk and talk. Like you'll see later on this week with DJ Moore. This was I'm going to stop and I'm going to answer your questions. And, I could have sat here and talked to him for an hour, but I didn't want to be rude. I just needed my clips and then let him get out of here. And he's a great guy and we really appreciate it. So Sammy, can we just go ahead and roll the first clip where David Montgomery's talking about Ben Johnson?
Bears getting in Ben Johnson.
They getting a perfectionist, a hard worker, and somebody who doesn't expect anything less of great.
Now, I love this information right here because what the Bears have needed for the last couple of seasons, which they really lacked with Matt Eberflus, was somebody who is a perfectionist, who pays attention to detail. There are players who thrive in this kind of environment, and you will find this, at any level, is that there are players, if you are truly great, you're going to want to be pushed and cajoled and all that stuff to be a good player. And that's what Ben Johnson's going to come in here and demand, especially on the offensive side of the football. And it's been one of the problems, and it really is one of the things that I came around to when we're talking about Ben Johnson. Now, obviously, I was in the forefront with Mike Vrabel because I feel like he's a similar ilk where he wants a lot of accountability and perfection, and that's what they want. And so I think for the Bears to have a guy who's going to demand that of him, and we'll see this as a theme when we talk about Caleb Williams with a lot of our other guests that are coming up this week. You will see, like, there are things that Caleb needs to be better about. And I think Caleb understands this too. And I think even as somebody who believes, and I still believe this, I still believe that Caleb Williams is the best quarterback of the 2024 draft class. Cam Newton said this on his show this week. I don't like taking Cam Newton's side because there's a war between Steve Smith Sr. And as everybody knows, I'm a Steve Smith Sr. guy. But when Cam's talking about, when he's saying positive things about Caleb Williams, I will sit here and listen. And I think this is what we need. And I think that if we're going to get the most out of Caleb Williams and we're going to allow him to go out there and be great, he needs to have a coach that is going to demand his absolute best. Now, even though Ben Johnson is a perfectionist, the thing that you run into is like, don't be so rigid that you can't, understand that there are a few mistakes here or there. It's fine. But I really think this is the kind of accountability that the Bears need right now. All right, Timmy, we have another clip too. Can we go ahead and play that one as well?
One of the guys that I really am excited about, and I'm sorry that we took him from you, Antoine Randle. I think that's a big X factor for us.
For sure. Coach L, he helps with everything as far as like the route concept. And then, the players being able to be merged, like it's easier for a player to look at a coach that played the game like we played it and have like a little bit more respect for them because they played it, and they also understand like some of the things that we have like concerns with. So yeah, it definitely sucked that we lost them, but it's good for them that they got them.
Did you see his expression right when you asked him about Antoine Randle? You can see how much that one really hurt, and it's a big thing too. Ben Johnson, obviously, boy genius, coming in here, mastermind, has these great schemes and these great concepts and these great plays, and it's like somebody who plays Madden. Sean McVay, very similar here. It's very important to go out there and get a coach who has the credibility, as David Montgomery was talking about, somebody who played in the NFL, who understands what he's going to be going through. And not only that, when you talk about the accountability, the perfectionist that Ben Johnson is, who is going to be the person also helping to deliver that mess? When you're a head coach, you're a head coach to everybody. And you got from Caleb Williams all the way down to the special teams guys. He has got to be accountable for all those guys. Antoine Randle is going to focus in on a lot of the offensive skill players, for lack of a better term. And we saw this last year, and there was something that happened on Thanksgiving. Jamison Williams was acting out, getting into a tiff with Tyreek Stevenson, of all people, going out there, acting nuts, and doing his thing. And Antoine Randle was holding Jamison Williams accountable, which is exactly what we need from the Chicago Bears. When you think about the way the team broke down, and really you can go back to the Tyreek Stevenson play against the Commanders as the thing that really illustrated what was wrong with the Chicago Bears. This is a coaching staff that is going to stress accountability. And to listen to David Montgomery talk about it, he knows. He just straight out said it sucks. But it's for you guys. Like he's happy for me. That's the one thing that I really enjoyed, is that he's happy for me. And this is why, and I don't know where I put it. This is why, again, I'm still collecting David Montgomery cards and everything like that. And speaking of which, at Windy City Sports Cards, we specialize in buying and selling all things related to Chicago sports. Whether you are a diehard fan of the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, Sky, or Fire, we have got you covered with an extensive selection of sports memorabilia and collectibles, in addition to their Chicago-focused items. They also offer a wide variety of sports cards and memorabilia from outside of Chicago sports. So if, for instance, you're a fan of the glove, Gary Payton, and you want to go out there, you're like, I got to find me a Gary Payton card. Maybe you want a Sean Kemp card or something like that. Windy City Sports Cards will help you out. So I do want to sit here and thank David Montgomery. It was really a cool experience to run into him, sit there and get an opportunity. And again, these guys are hustling through. So I know it seems short, but we spent some time with him. Great reconnecting with him. He's a really good guy. We root for him. We root for the Lions to not win not as many games this year. I think the Bears got one. I think this Antoine Randle thing is going to be very huge. So I appreciate everybody for checking out this very special edition, the David Montgomery edition of the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank. So until next time, Sammy, go ahead and play us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.